I was in the middle of giving Emma another dose of Tylenol when my mother-in-law, Patricia, burst into the twins' bedroom, wearing a bright floral sundress and carrying a large beach bag. The sight made my stomach clench. I knew that look. "Great news," she announced, not even glancing at my feverish 4-year-olds. "Sarah's having an impromptu beach party, just what I need after being cooped up here all morning." My name is Madison, and at 32, I never thought I'd be facing this kind of situation. I looked at my twins, Emma and Liam, both burning up with 102-degree fevers, their usually energetic faces flushed and miserable. "Patricia," I said, trying to keep my voice level, "you can't leave. The kids are sick, and I have an important virtual meeting with a client in an hour. You promised to help today while James is away." She waved her hand dismissively, already checking her reflection in the twins' mirror. "Oh, please, they're just a bit warm. Children get fevers all the time. Besides, I've been watching them since this morning. I deserve a break." "A break? It's barely noon, and you've spent most of the morning on your phone." I couldn't hide the frustration in my voice. The twins had been up all night with high fevers, and I was running on coffee and worry. "Don't be so dramatic," Patricia huffed, applying a fresh coat of lipstick. "They're sleeping anyway. Just work from their room. I'll be back before you know it." Before I could protest further, she was already heading down the stairs. I followed her, leaving the twins' door open so I could hear them. "Patricia, stop. You can't just." The front door slammed in my face. Through the window, I watched her climb into her convertible designer beach bag in tow and speed away. I stood there in shock, my hands shaking with anger. James was away at a medical conference, and Patricia had insisted on coming to help while he was gone. "You'll need support with the twins," she'd said. "I'm happy to step in. After all, what are mothers-in-law for?" What indeed? I hurried back upstairs to check on the twins. Emma was finally asleep, her favorite stuffed giraffe clutched tight, but Liam was awake and whimpering. "Mommy," he croaked, "I don't feel good." "I know, baby." I pressed a cool cloth to his forehead, my heart aching. "Mommy's here." My phone buzzed, a notification from Facebook. Patricia had just gone live from the beach. "Best day ever," she posted, posing with a cocktail. "Sometimes you just need to escape." I watched in disbelief as she proceeded to post photo after photo. Here she was lounging on a beach chair, there dancing with her friends, all while my children lay sick at home. "Having the time of my life." Read another post. "Nothing better than spontaneous beach parties with my girls. Hashtag was hashtag beach life, hashtag no responsibilities." No responsibilities. The words made my blood boil. The next hour was a blur of juggling my client meeting via laptop while constantly checking on the twins. Their fevers weren't breaking, and I was getting worried. Emma had started coughing, and Liam could barely keep water down. Then came Patricia's most outrageous post yet, a selfie with a group of women, cocktails raised high. Who needs sick kids when you can have sick parties? Hashtag Serenasari, hashtag living my best life. That was it. Something inside me snapped. With trembling fingers, I screenshotted every single post, every carefree photo, every callous comment. Then I opened my phone and made a call. Not to James, not yet. He was presenting at the conference today, and I wouldn't disrupt that. No, I called someone else, someone I knew would want to see exactly what kind of person Patricia really was. "Hello, Margaret. This is Madison." "Yes, I know you're at the country club board meeting. I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I thought you might want to see what your dear friend Patricia is up to today. You know, the one who told you she couldn't attend because she was caring for her sick grandchildren." Margaret, the president of the local country club board and Patricia's closest friend, went silent as I sent her the screenshots. "I see," she said finally, her voice icy. "How interesting. And the children?" "Running high fevers while she posts about her hashtag best day ever." I replied calmly. "Thank you for bringing this to my attention, Madison. The board will be very interested in this demonstration of character." I hung up and turned back to caring for my children, a small smile playing on my lips. Patricia's precious country club membership, the one she bragged about constantly, the source of her social status. Well, let's just say the board took their moral character requirements very seriously. Hours later, as the sun was setting, I heard Patricia's car pull into the driveway. She stumbled through the front door, cheeks sunburned, reeking of alcohol and coconut sunscreen. "What a day," she announced, dropping her beach bag on the floor. You really missed out, Madison. Sarah knows how to throw a party. I looked up from where I sat between the twins' beds, still pressing cool cloths to their foreheads. Hope it was worth it, I said softly. Oh, it absolutely was. She kicked off her sandals, oblivious to my tone. Best day ever. I smiled, thinking of the email I'd received from Margaret just minutes ago. We'll see about that. Patricia had no idea what was coming. Sometimes the best revenge isn't immediate. It's letting someone dance their way right off a cliff they don't even know is there. The next morning, Patricia stumbled downstairs around 10 a.m., wearing her designer silk robe and nursing what I assumed was a massive hangover. I was in the kitchen, finally getting a moment to make some coffee after a sleepless night with the twins. Hugh, could you not run the coffee grinder so loud? She groaned, sliding onto a bar stool. My head is killing me. I continued grinding the beans. Rough night. Worth it though, she smirked, reaching for her phone. Let me show you the rest of the pictures from yesterday's. Wait, what? I glanced over. Patricia was frantically scrolling through her Facebook feed, her face growing paler by the second. My posts, they're all gone, and I can't access the country club's private group anymore. There must be some mistake. She looked up at me, confusion clouding her features. The system must be glitching. Just then, her phone buzzed with an email. I watched as she opened it, her hands shaking slightly. Dear Mrs. Patricia Wheeler, she read aloud, her voice growing increasingly panicked. We regret to inform you that your membership at Rolling Hills Country Club has been suspended pending review by the board. Recent events have brought into question your alignment with our club's values and moral character requirements. She dropped her phone like it had burned her. This can't be happening. Margaret wouldn't. Margaret saw everything, I said calmly, pouring my coffee. Every post, every photo, every hashtag about choosing parties over sick children. The board was quite interested in your definition of family values. You, Patricia's face contorted with rage. You sent them my posts. How dare you? I was just having a little fun. Fun? I set my cup down hard enough to make her wince. While you were having fun, I was up all night with Emma and Liam. Their fevers spiked to 103. I had to cancel my client meeting to take them to urgent care, alone. The color drained from Patricia's face. Urgent care? Are they? They're finally resting, thanks for asking. The doctor said it's a severe case of the flu. You know, the thing you dismissed as just a bit warm before you ran off to party. Patricia stood up, swaying slightly. I'll just explain to Margaret. She'll understand. We've been friends for 20 years. We're friends, I corrected. She was particularly interested in the post where you bragged about lying to her about caring for your grandchildren. This is ridiculous. Patricia's voice rose hysterically. I'll call James. He'll fix this. Already done, I replied, pulling out my own phone. I sent him everything this morning. He should be calling any minute. As if on cue, Patricia's phone started ringing, James's photo lighting up the screen. She grabbed it desperately. James, honey, your wife is being completely unreasonable. She trailed off as James's voice came through, loud enough that I could hear his anger. What were you thinking, Mom? You abandoned my children while they were sick. To go to a beach party? I didn't abandon them. Madison was there. You promised to help her. Instead, you left her alone with 2 sick kids so you could go drinking with your friends, and then bragged about it on social media. I just needed a break. A break? From what? From being a grandmother? From basic human decency? Tears started rolling down Patricia's cheeks. James, please. The kids could have gotten worse. What if Madison hadn't been able to get them to urgent care? What if something had happened? But nothing happened. Thanks to Madison, not you. I'm cutting my conference short. I'll be home tonight. We'll discuss this further then. The line went dead. Patricia stared at her phone in disbelief. This is all your fault, she hissed at me. You've turned my own son against me. I shook my head. No, Patricia. Your actions did that. The country club, James, Margaret, they're all just seeing who you really are. Someone who puts parties above sick children, who lies to her friends, who brags about neglecting her grandchildren. I didn't. Best day ever, I quoted. Nothing better than spontaneous beach parties. Who needs sick kids when you can have sick parties? Your words, Patricia. All there in black and white. She crumpled into the chair, mascara running down her cheeks. my reputation, the country club, my friends. Maybe you should have thought about that before you left my children alone while they were sick. I started walking out of the kitchen, then turned back. Oh, and Patricia, you might want to pack your bags. James mentioned something about you finding other living arrangements. I headed upstairs to check on the twins, leaving Patricia sobbing in the kitchen. Her perfect world was crumbling, and for once she had no one to blame but herself. As I sat between my children's beds, gently stroking their hair, I realized something. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about getting even. It's about letting someone's true colors show themselves to the world. 3 months after what became known as the beach party incident, our lives had changed dramatically. The twins had fully recovered from their flu, but the family dynamics would never be the same. James arrived home that night as promised, took one look at his hungover mother and our sick children, and made a decision that surprised even me. "Pack your bags, Mom," he said, his voice firm. "I've booked you a hotel room. This isn't working anymore." Patricia had tried everything: tears, guilt trips, accusations. "Your wife is tearing this family apart," she wailed as James helped carry her luggage to her car. "No, Mom," he replied calmly. "You did that yourself when you chose a party over your sick grandchildren." The fella at the country club had been spectacular. Margaret, it turned out, had shared Patricia's posts with the entire board. Her carefully crafted image as the devoted grandmother and pillar of society crumbled overnight. The suspension became permanent when Patricia's drunken Facebook rant about stuck-up board members and ungrateful families went viral in their social circle. Now, on a quiet Sunday morning, I sat on our porch watching the twins play in the yard, their energy fully restored. James came out with 2 cups of coffee, handing me one before settling into the chair beside me. "Mom called again," he said, his voice tired. "She's still asking to come back." I took a sip of coffee, and I told her the same thing as always, not until she takes responsibility for her actions and gets help for her behavior. He shook his head. She hung up on me. The past few months had been eye-opening for James. After the incident, other family members came forward with stories about Patricia's self-centered behavior, times she had bailed on babysitting for parties, occasions she had ruined with her drama, promises broken in favor of social events. "You know what the saddest part is?" James said, watching Emma chase Liam around the yard. "She still doesn't understand what she did wrong. In her mind, she's the victim." Just then, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Margaret, who had surprisingly become a friend after everything that happened. "Thought you'd want to see this," the message read, followed by a screenshot of Patricia's latest Facebook post. "Missing my grandchildren. Some people just can't let go of one little mistake. So unfair how quickly people turn on you. #misjudge, #forgiveness, #family over everything." I showed it to James, who sighed deeply. One little mistake. She left our children alone while they were seriously ill, then bragged about it on social media. "And still hasn't apologized," I added. "Dad," Emma called from the yard, "come push us on the swings." James smiled, standing up. "That's a much better use of my time than dwelling on Mom's latest guilt trip." As I watched my husband playing with our children, I thought about how this incident had changed us. James had finally seen his mother's true colors, not just as a mother-in-law, but as a person. The constant excuses, the self-centered behavior, the manipulation, it all came into focus. Patricia had lost more than her country club membership. Her social circle had shrunk considerably after the story spread. Her friends, led by Margaret, had distanced themselves, unwilling to associate with someone who would abandon sick children for a party. She had moved to a smaller house in a different neighborhood, her Facebook now filled with vague posts about forgiveness and family loyalty. Last week, she had shown up unannounced at our door, clutching shopping bags filled with toys. "I thought the kids might like these," she said, trying to peer around me into the house. "Patricia," I replied firmly, "gifts won't fix this. The kids don't eat toys. They needed their grandmother when they were sick." I said I was sorry. "Actually, you haven't. Not once." She left in a huff, the shopping bags still clutched in her arms, posting later about ungrateful families and bitter daughters-in-law. Now, watching my family in our yard, I felt at peace with how everything had played out. Sometimes it takes a dramatic incident to reveal a person's true nature. Patricia had shown everyone exactly who she was, and now she was living with the consequences. "Mommy," Liam called. "Come play with us." I set down my coffee and joined my family by the swings. This was what mattered. These moments, this love, this trust. Patricia had chosen a beach party over her grandchildren, and in doing so, she had lost something far more precious than her social status. She had lost her family's respect, and that was something no country club membership could replace. As Emma wrapped her little arms around my neck, I silently thanked Patricia. Her best day ever had given us something valuable, the clarity to see her for who she really was and the strength to create firm boundaries that protected our family. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about getting even. It's about letting someone's choices reveal their true character to the world.